Walsh here at Hard Money Bankers. I'm going to talk real quick about construction draws. So you finally got to the closing table and your lender's going to say, we will buy the acquisition and we're going to take your construction funds and put them in a construction reserve. What does that mean? So let's walk through a deal here. Made up numbers here, but when we keep it easy, let's say you bought the house for $100,000 acquisition, purchase price. This acquisition, right? Then another $100K, let's say for the rehab, and your ARV is about $300K. Okay, so that's a solid deal if you find that, right? So the lender says, yes, we will do that. We'll buy the property for $100K. We're going to put $100K into rehab reserve though. So what that means for you as the borrower, it's a way for a lender to offset our risk. Instead of going all in, of giving you $200,000 right away, we're going to say we're going to give you 100, we'll get you the property, and then we're going to not necessarily micromanage your project, but we're going to make sure you're using the other 100K for rehab towards getting that project done, right? So it's going to sit in an escrow account. So let's say you submitted your plan to your lender. You're going to do 5 segments of $20,000. 20K, okay. Right? For the first phase, you are predicting electric, plumbing, HVAC, and walls. Okay? Let's just say that all comes up to $20,000. Probably a little light, actually, if you're adding walls in there. Probably electric, plumbing, and HVAC are all around 20. But anyway, let's just say you're able to do it, right? You're able to do those 4 things, 20,000. This is draw 1, right? So you don't have to pay the contractor. You can work it out with the contractor to say, hey, you'll get paid once the draw request comes in. But a lot of contractors say, no, you pay me now, right? So you have to front that first 20,000. You then submit to the lender saying, hey, first phase 1's done. We've got electric, plumbing, HVAC, walls done. They're going to send an inspector out, and then the inspector takes pictures, just walks around, takes pictures of the property, and sends a report back to the lender saying, hey, electric, plumbing, HVAC, walls, all done. Good to go. And the lender's going to say, okay, we will now release that $20,000 from escrow. Now, in a perfect world, you are going to take your project and segment it out, $20,000 each, right? So you can keep funding, get the draw request out, get funded by the borrower, keep funding the project, and it's moving. So what happens when something goes wrong, right? So let's say your electric, plumbing, HVAC, walls all got up, and then you realize, hey, my electrician screwed up, and we have to get behind the walls now. It's going to cost $5,000. As a borrower, your first thought might be, it's okay, I'm going to go ask my lender for it. The lender, our first thought is, go catch that project up with your money. Reason being is we've already given you our max risk, right? This $200,000 is the max we're going to go in on that property. So when things go wrong, that's not on the lender to cover. That's on the borrower to cover and catch up the project. So, I mean, this is the area where when things go wrong, it's always in the construction, it's on the rehab, it's on the draws. The lender we don't want to keep you stuck. We do want to keep you moving. So typically if you're early in the project, 20, 40, 60,000, and you do have an issue, as long as you've been communicating with us, you explain us to the issue, and you draw out how it's going to be covered, we can release the money to you. Say, okay, we'll give you that $5,000, but you're going to have to catch this project up for the next draw, right? Because we don't want to keep you stuck, but we also don't want to be the ones left with the bill at the end. When you get down here, when you're in the last few draws, this is where you're going to see your lender really tighten up and say, hey, you haven't even started your kitchen yet. We're not going to release this until we see progress on the house. There's a few things you might want to know, such as you're not going to get funded for purchased items or on-site items. So if you buy your kitchen cabinets and say, put in the request, hey, I ordered these for $10,000, lender's not going to fund them until they see them installed. Honestly, it's the oldest trick in the book for contractors on multiple projects. They order for one place and then get funded from another one and send it over to another project they're working on. They're just constantly behind. So a lender typically is going to say, once we see that installed, we will fund that for you. So why? Why do we do this? We do this because it protects both the borrower and the lender. We don't have to go all in 200,000 right away, and we get to make sure you're progressing on the project. At the same time, you don't have to worry about us lending on other deals and being crazy stupid with millions and millions of dollars and losing it. It's going to sit in that account. Once the closing happens, the money is there. It's yours. As long as you do what you said you're going to do on these draw requests, right? The lender is not going to go in and use that money for another project. So it sits there and it's yours. Also means you do pay monthly only interest payments on it. While it sits there, the lender can't use it either. So it's not making them money. So you do have to pay for the monthly interest only there. The how is pretty simple. You just go in, you do the work, go into a website and say, this is, we did X step 1, we did electric, we did plumbing, we did HVAC, we did walls. Click submit, and they send an inspector out to go take a look at what you've done. Now, the total amount that you are probably expected to receive is the work you've done, meaning it costs you $20,000 to do all this, right? That isn't always how much the lender is going to give you. You need to be careful on this, especially as you get down to draw. This is draw 2, this is 3. Get down to around draw 4 and 5, the lender's going to really tighten up. Okay? If there's $40,000 left in the escrow account, you haven't started the kitchen, you haven't done the floors, you haven't done the walls, you haven't done the bathroom, and there's no painting anywhere, lender might say, I'm not going to give you another penny until we see money, or until we see work on the kitchen done. So there's no direct formula. This is a relationship you build with your lender. Most of our borrowers realize in the beginning we're fairly loose. Okay, we want to keep you moving and moving and moving. As you get around to the middle of the project, we definitely want to see you're on budget and on track with the items that you've outlined for us. And as we get near the end, we really tighten up and we say, hey, we're not going to release this final draw. When you're asking for the final 20,000, the final means final. Everything's done. Painting, cleanups, touch-ups, that's all done. A lot of times borrowers think, well, I'll do the cleanup, I'll do the painting touch-ups, just send me the final $10,000. As a lender, if you decide to take that money and walk away, there's nothing we can do about that. So we want you to do the final cleanup, the final touch-ups, and all of that before we send you the last amount. So that's it. That's how draws work with the lending company.